You know, you don't owe anyone an explanation as to why you have made the decisions that you have decided to make. The only person that you owe an explanation is you. You owe you an explanation, especially if you gave yourself your word to do something and you didn't do it. Yeah. See, boundaries have saved my life. Growing up, I didn't have them. I didn't know anything about boundaries. I grew up without the comprehension of what a boundary was. Go figure, right? And then I found that that's many people. See, when you're a people person, you actually care about people. You genuinely concern yourself with the livelihood of others. You have a tendency to overthink your own decisions because you want to make sure you're not doing anything to offend anybody else or cause any problems within anybody else's thought process. And then I realized I'm not responsible for anybody else's thoughts. I am not responsible for anyone else's assumptions. I realized that, hey, you don't owe anybody any explanation as to why you may tell them, let's say you tell somebody no. No is a complete sentence and it does not require an explanation. I heard that for the first time in my life maybe 5 years ago. Crazy. You don't owe anybody to move your boundaries. That's a big no. You don't have to move your boundaries for anybody. As a matter of fact, I want to give you a framework that I came up with that has helped me immensely with setting boundaries on people that I may care about, I may actually love, but I found that there's freedom in boundaries. See, boundaries allow you to know where you can roam free and do whatever you want to do. It's like my kids. See, we got a playroom. I tell them often, stay in that playroom. Get back in the playroom. Why? Because that room is where you are safe. That room is where you can play. That room is where I know you're going to be okay in, and also where you're supposed to be if I'm doing whatever it is I need to be doing. There's freedom inside the boundary. It's when you step over the boundary. It's when you cross the boundary. Now what you are doing is you are, what I tell my children, you are in the danger zone. You step outside of the boundary line, you are now in the danger zone. So what do? We make sure that the boundaries are very clear. If the boundaries are not clear, what happens is individuals who can't see the boundary, they don't understand the boundary, or they don't respect the boundary, they act like, oh, well, shoot, I just thought I could do this, or, I thought I had permission. It's like, no. You have to set boundaries so clear that it is like the out of bounds line in an NFL game. It's like literally you see that line. Ain't no question about it. That is a clear boundary. Do not cross it. So this is how you can go about that. This is the framework you can use to actually go about making sure that you do not waste your time with unnecessary explanations as well as relationships. You got to be intentional. Intentional friendships, intentional family, and if you're a father, intentional fathers. Y'all got to set boundaries so that you can function within the freedom that you have and allot people the freedom that you may have given them the permission to have. I say, you don't share your PB&J with people who are not your VIPs. What does that mean, Jared? Glad you asked. Listen, a VIP is someone who shares the same values, identity, and priorities as you. See, when you have the same values, that means you have the same principles. That means I don't have to tell you can't do this, you can't do that. Why? Because by default, you don't do that. So we're good. Identity. If I have a specific identity as a certain type, I'm a father. I associate with fathers more often than none. I'm a husband. I don't fool with a lot of single people and all that stuff. Why? Because it's not a fool with them. It's just I have no business kicking it with you. I'm married, and I got kids, and I got a bedtime. I just live a different lifestyle, and you can't expect somebody to understand your perspective and your lifestyle if y'all don't have the same identity. It's kind of unfair to expect that. How you expect somebody who ain't got no kids, ain't never had no kids, and probably don't want no kids to see things from your perspective as a parent? Somebody who's been single their whole life, and you expect them to see things from the lenses of someone who's married? That don't make sense. It's not fair. It's not appropriate. And priorities. Because I'm a husband, my wife is my priority. Because I'm a father, my children are my priority. Because I'm not single, my family is my priority. I'm responsible for them and responsible to them. So it's literally VIP, values and identity and priorities. And when you have those in alignment with others, those people who have the same values, identity, and priorities as you, now you can share your PB&J with them. What's that? Principles, boundaries, and judgments. See, your principles are in alignment. Like I said, those are your values. You don't move off of them. These are the non-negotiables. This is what you stand on. This is foundational. This is fundamental to your identity. Therefore, you don't have to explain your principles to people who share the same principles as you. Therefore, it's easy for you to share. Matter of fact, it's an iron sharpened iron situation whenever you are exchanging principles. Like, oh, that's a good one. I like that. I ain't never think about that one. Literally, you're just giving wisdom and receiving wisdom from those who you can share your PB&J with. So when you're dealing with PB&J, we have principles, we have boundaries. When you share the same boundaries as people, you don't have to explain nothing to them. You don't have to tell them, hey, don't do this. Hey, don't do that. You just know. Like if you're a person who requires that the shoes come off whenever you enter into your home, all right, cool. You have somebody else that comes over and they have the same boundaries at home. This is how they operate. This is how they run their house. It feels so good when you don't have to explain or express yourself to somebody who you already knows better. Like it's so freeing. The freedom in understanding and being understood within a boundary. Oh my goodness, it feels so good. So when you have the same principles, you have the same boundaries, and then you have the same judgments. Meaning how you see situations, how you discern situations, how you know, like, hey, we don't do this. It's unacceptable. You out of pocket for that. The judgment that person uses is the judgment that you use. So this means you discern things appropriately. That means you can look at a situation and based off of your own ethics, your own moral code, your own way of judging a situation appropriately as far as discerning, not condemning. Now, when you have that, you share PB&J. You not peanut butter and jelly, but principles, boundaries, and judgments. All because that person is a VIP. They already had the same values, they already had the same identity, and they already had the same priorities with you. Do not share your PB&J with people who are not VIPs. Stop doing that. Stop expecting somebody to be somebody you want them to be when they are incapable of being that. They don't share the same values. They don't share the same identity. And they dang sure don't share the same priorities. Y'all do not vibe. You don't have the same values. You don't have the same intentions. You don't have the same beliefs. You don't have the same expectations. I would go as far as to say you don't have the same values, intentions, identity, belief, boundaries, expectation, and etiquette. It gets deep. But to prevent anybody from going too far left and being put in a situation where they may ask questions like, why? I don't have to explain myself to somebody who I already know understands. And that is how you get ahead of that one. Only share your PB&J with VIPs because your principles, boundaries, and judgments are only meant to be used within the actual circle of those who have the same values, identity, and priorities as you. I promise you it'll save you headaches. I promise you it'll save you a whole lot of time. Because what you don't got time to do is be explaining yourself to other grown folk when you grown, when you made the decision that you chose to make because you grown. You can do that. Outside of that, look, y'all stay focused and understand that you get to make the decisions that you choose to make. You get to be who you choose to be. You get to do what you choose to do. And as long as your principles, your boundaries and your judgments are understood by those who share the same values, identity, and priorities as you, you literally can't go wrong. The hard part is finding them. But that's a whole nother subject. Y'all stay focused. Remember, you got this, because whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose assigned to your life. And within your purpose is where you'll actually find those who actually have the same values, intentions, beliefs, and expectations. You want to find your vibe, find your tribe, find people who are functioning within your purpose, and be intentional about doing everything you're supposed to do. And you can't go wrong. Keep God first and stay focused, y'all. All right.